So if you have found this video, you probably are wondering whether you have hypothyroidism, or maybe you have just found out that you have it. Well, stay tuned because I will be explaining what it is. So before I start with the video, I have to address my fabulousness. If you want to find out why do I look like this today and why I don't even care, please stay till the end of the video. I'm going to tell you a little story from my private life, but let's go straight into hypothyroidism. So we are going to go through a few points today. The first point is going to be what thyroid actually does. The second, we're going to try to find the exact reason, where is the exact problem with the thyroid function. We're going to give a little nice analogy of how does it work. And as I said, I'm going to finish with a little bit of personal anecdote at the end. What thyroid actually does. Thyroid is our little gland that is actually located right here under our Adam's apple, where it actually migrates during pregnancy. Thyroid controls a lot of things in our body, but its main function, if we simplify things, is controlling the whole metabolism. That is super simplistic explanation. Now, how does thyroid actually work? It takes actually iodine, and thyroid cells are the only cells in the body that can actually use iodine, and it turns it to tyrosine, which then is turned to T3 and T4. T3 basically has 3 iodide atoms and T4 has 4 iodide atoms. Now, then later, those hormones circulate in our body, and T3 is actually already an active hormone, which means that it can go into the cell and it can actually trigger what it has to trigger and help give the cell sign to actually create more energy. T4 has to go through the process of deionization, I think, so basically removing this one atom of iodide. So conversion of T4 into T3, which again, T3 is the active thyroid hormone, happens mostly in liver, in kidneys, and to some point in our other tissues. Now, there is also another hormone that is very, very connected to thyroid function, which is TSH, and that is actually produced not in our thyroid, but in our pituitary gland in our brain. And that actually is the hormone that signals to our thyroid to create more T3 and T4. So again, you have TSH that is created in pituitary gland that then signals into your thyroid, it raises in your body, it signals by that to our thyroid to create both more T3 and T4. But as I said, the majority of thyroid production is T4, inactive hormone that then has to be activated, and a little bit of it is already active T3. Now, where is the problem? I'm going to say it from 2 different ways. So first I'm going to say it in quite scientific way from the top to the bottom what happens, and then I'm going to try to give you a little bit of metaphor to understand it a little bit easier from the bottom to the top, kind of. Our pituitary gland is also controlled by other part of the brain that is called hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is actually creating TSH that then tells the pituitary gland to actually release the TSH. That is a signaling hormone to our thyroid to create more T3 and T4. And then those hormones are circulating in our body and are being either activated from T4 to T3. Of course, T3 is doing its thing straight away, or maybe there is something there that causes a problem. So if you think about it, the problem might be in hypothalamus, in pituitary gland, in thyroid, or maybe in conversion of hormones. So this is, on all of those steps, something might go wrong. Now, most common thing is that we actually have high TSH, but our thyroid is not producing enough hormones. Sometimes it's something super easy like lack of iodine in our diet. Sometimes it's something that actually causes in our life high demand for thyroid hormones, like stress, like exercising a lot, like growing, or like being pregnant. So all of those actually raises the need for thyroid hormone, and if we don't have enough iodine, or if our thyroid itself doesn't work properly, then of course it gets signaled to our pituitary gland, it releases more TSH, and this is usually what we see first in our blood test results. Now, if I can compare it to something, think about, we're going to go through the other way around. We are going to go with the analogy of a thermostat that I found, which I think is actually really, really good. So think about our thyroid gland as a furnace and about our pituitary gland as a thermostat. So when the temperature is too high, the thermostat will automatically switch off. But if the temperature is too low, it will automatically turn on. Now, if we think about our hypothalamus, that would be the person controlling the thermostat. So whenever our thyroids go low in the body, our thermostat is switching on, which is pituitary gland releasing TSH. But whenever they are running too high, the thermostat switches off, and now our TSH might be actually a little bit too low, which actually can show us that person might have actually a hyperthyroidism instead of hypothyroidism. So now we actually discovered how all of this works, and as I said, the problem for many people will be mostly with thyroid function. However, there is a lot of things that can influence your thyroid function, as I said. So sometimes people can find out that they have pituitary gland tumors actually that can cause their TSH to be released incorrectly. Sometimes it is just something like stress that influences how our thyroid works, or how much thyroid function do we need, because of course when we are in constant stress we produce a lot of adrenaline, so we should have quicker metabolism, but sometimes our thyroid cannot produce enough, also because our digestion can be downgraded, and maybe we don't have enough iodine in the diet, or maybe we're just not digesting it, or ingesting it rather, in a correct way. Now another thing is that what many people actually have a problem with, as I said, is the thyroid function. And if you are going to take a medication, which I want to touch on, what you are getting in your medication, in your most common medication, which is levothyroxine. I'm going to put the name of it underneath. Very often it's called Euthyrox or Levaxine or something like that. You are getting the T4 hormone. So this is the hormone that actually still has to have one of the ionide atoms removed in your body, by your body. And many people also have a problem with conversion. So this is when I want to emphasize that if you're going to have a thyroid function checked, which you should, also if you're, for example, on a birth control pill, because it also makes us need a little bit more of it, you should always ask your doctor to check all of it, because I'm talking about hypothyroidism as a general. There's also the whole other type of hypothyroidism, which is Hashimoto's disease, but this is autoimmune disease. So to make sure and to find out what kind of hypothyroidism you have and where the problem lays, you should have tested TSH, so the pituitary gland hormone that is actually just signaling something to your thyroid. So remember, if it's too high, it means that your thyroid doesn't produce enough hormones, right? So this is one thing. The second thing is to always have tested both T3 and T4. And why is that? Because when you're going to get your synthetic thyroid hormone, you're going to get a lot of T4. So your TSH might drop because your body gets the signal that there is a lot of T4 in the body, but there might still be a problem with the conversion. So you might still not have enough of the active kind of your thyroid hormone, which is T3. So it's very important to see levels of all of them, because sometimes you can do something to improve conversion from T4 to T3, because a lot of T4 circulating in your body and actually not turning into T3, and therefore not creating energy and helping with your metabolism, with your body temperature and so on, will not do much. So there are certain supplementation that you can, for example, do to improve it, and of course improvements in lifestyle. So that's why you should have tested TSH, T3, T4, and then just to make sure that your hypothyroidism is just clinical, I think the term is clinical hypothyroidism, and not Hashimoto's, you should also have checked your antibodies. So there are two types of antibodies that you should have checked and the level for it, because of course Hashimoto's is the disease where your own body is attacking your thyroid. So first it can actually show as a hyperthyroidism and then hypothyroidism, and it's a little bit more dynamic state, and as I said, it's autoimmune disease, so the mechanism of it is a little bit different. But that is why it's super important to do that. That is also why it's very important to make sure that you have enough iodine in your diet from good sources, not from table salt. I would definitely recommend eating a lot of seafood, eating kelp if you want to supplement with something. If you want me to make a video about supplementation with hypothyroidism, make sure you let me know if you do. And if you like hypothyroidism videos, let me know also in the comments down below, because I'm planning to do a whole series about them. And I know that most of my videos so far were about PCOS, insulin resistance and so on, but I also have hypothyroidism, and I know that a big number of women with PCOS also have problem with hypothyroidism at the same time. And as I said, very often it comes up as well when we're taking birth control pill, which is very often prescribed for PCOS as well. So let me know about this. Now let me tell you the private story. Why do I look like this and why I don't even care? We are, as you know, I'm living on Tenerife, Canary Islands. And you know, it's a tropical island. Everybody thinks that it's absolutely, you know, a magical island to live on, which it can be at times. You know, we were 27th of December on the beach with 27 degrees, which definitely you can't complain about. However, we had a tropical storm right now, and the apartments are unfortunately are not well ventilated here, which means that you are gonna have a lot of dampness in your apartment, so nothing dries. It's super cold. All window frames are wet. And now also we have problem with mold. So we have mold on every single wall in this apartment, and I am currently searching for apartment to move into. So you are gonna see the change in the backdrop again. So again, in this apartment we have lived for 3 months and we're searching for a new one. So you see that every place comes with a little bit of drawbacks, and to be honest, with all the rain, with the fact that I don't have dry clean clothes because they don't dry, why would I put makeup on, you know? So that's my story. If you want me to tell you more personal stories, let me know down in the comments below, and make sure you like, subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified about my future videos, and I will see you very soon. Bye!